Hi guys, Simon Varley here from GivePanel, and thanks for spending the next 5 minutes with me to learn more about what GivePanel does, what problems we solve, and what opportunities we open up. So firstly, just 10 seconds on why GivePanel exists. We all know that Facebook fundraising is growing at an incredible rate. Users love it, fundraisers love it, donors love it, but charities are pretty indifferent to it because it's so hard to use from a fundraising platform's perspective. That is the gap that GivePanel solves. We sit between social networks like Facebook and your CRM and your database and provide that stewardship, that data interaction, and those tools you need to really grow your Facebook fundraising. So what I'm looking at here is the dashboard. As you can already see, you're getting data from our dashboard that you won't get from Facebook itself. So we can break down things like average raise, total raise from birthdays, total coming through Instagram, and even cleverer than that, we can dive into specific events. So if I just look at any event here, let's take 3,000 sit-ups in April, I can see how that specific event is performing on Facebook. This means that you can use Facebook like you could any other fundraising platform. So in this case, not only am I seeing revenue, I'm seeing average fundraisers, total number of people registered, but number of marketing opt-ins, and actually how many of my fundraisers who've registered for my event are actually actively fundraising. On top of this, I should say that you can filter this data by any time range, any date range, so you can be as macro or as micro as you want. Similarly, really excitingly, about a month ago, we actually automatically synced with Facebook, so no longer are you having to bring manual CSV reports from Facebook into GivePanel. It's all automated, saving yourself time, saving your staff time, and ultimately leaving more time to make revenue. Cool, so we're moving on from the dashboard here. The meat and bones of the system is the Fundraisers tab. What the Fundraisers tab does is pull that messy Fundraisers tab from Facebook and replicate it inside of GivePanel in a systems-driven, process-driven way. The way that I like to show it is if I look at my filters tab here, probably the most helpful filter in the system is this new label. When I apply this new label, what's going to happen is it's going to tell me that since I've last logged into the system, I've had 9 fundraisers created who've raised just under $2,000. That's great, and for me, that's part 1 of the conundrum. Part 2 is acknowledging these people, stewarding these people, and ultimately starting them on this lifelong journey of supporting your cause. So if I click on Dorian Gray up here, what I'm going to see is the basic information that Facebook provides. What I want to do is use one of the clever GivePanel messaging templates, which are personalized to your fundraisers and your copy. When I click on one of these, what it's going to do is paste a nice thank you message directly onto your fundraisers page. So here's an example of Sophia from Mind, and you can see right here that Mind have said, "Hi Sophia, thanks for your support. It really means a lot. Thanks, Emma." Inside of GivePanel, what I can then do is just flag off that this has happened. So in this case, I've sent a simple thank you message 1. I can use my recently used labels, acknowledge that thank you message 1 has been sent, save that. Dorian's going to drop off my list of new fundraisers. And as you'd imagine, if I look at all my data, I can see Dorian with a thank you message 1 attached here, along with those who've had less messaging and more messaging. Amazingly, what we see just by thanking alone, which to me seems like the right thing to do, we see an over than 20% uptick in how much that fundraiser is raising. On top of that, we can go one step further and try and capture some extra data to begin that lifelong journey. So if we look at Sophia here, we can see there's a simple form which is asking her to fill in some simple details so we can grab that information. If Sophia clicks that, and around 35% of all your fundraisers will, and 80% of your top raisers will click this link, they're taken to a simple Facebook-optimized, mobile-friendly data collection form, which looks a little like this. Once I've got that data, it's going to sit inside GivePanel alongside your marketing opt-ins, your preferences, and I'm going to be able to sort my data simply by those who we've thanked and we've got data from, and those who haven't yet been thanked, or we have thanked and haven't yet got data from. So that's the meat and bones of the system, the fundraiser stewardship, that journey, that excitement that you can provide your supporters who are already heavily intended to give to you. The problem we had was this was fantastic for charities who already had a good number of fundraisers, but actually Facebook's worth much more than just birthday fundraising. So to unlock that side of the system, we came up with the registrations tool. The registrations tool does what it says on the tin. It allows you to collect registrations on Facebook for events, for campaigns, for whatever it may be. A good example of this is Facebook group challenges, which are taking the world by storm at the moment, having raised about 500 million alone in the last year. What we can do here is we can steward supporters inside of Facebook groups. Once we're in there, we can collect registrations using those simple data collection forms, and then we can push them towards setting up Facebook fundraisers. The magic of this on the back end is because it's all in one place, we can automatically match that data. So we no longer have the problem of having supporters register on our event site and set up a fundraising platform on another fundraising site. It's all on Facebook for the supporter, and on our end, we can easily see that we've had only 2 people who've registered and not yet set up their fundraiser, where we've had 15 people who have done both steps. This is probably one of the most pivotal parts of the system and definitely the fastest sort of growing area in terms of income generation. Once we've got this data, I'm sure your minds are abuzz with ideas here, but we can do a number of cool things. Predominantly, I like to look at some of what we call our event tools. And inside our event tools, let me just move my face for a moment. We can do things like set up triggered automated email journeys, depending if fundraisers have been set up or not. So I can click on my email journeys, comes from your own charity, and then there's simple triggers such as 1 or 2 days after registration, or 1 or 2 days after your event date start. We're going to send an email to those who've been matched with a fundraiser or those who haven't. And we can also, even more excitingly, customize fundraisers for that fundraiser. So one of the big problems with Facebook prior to this is any fundraiser who's set up, it's hard to identify, you don't really know where they come from. With our custom fundraiser creation tool, you can now create personalized links with the correct fundraising targets, correct end dates, and send them to your supporters anywhere. So with one click from an email, even from a QR code on a poster, fundraisers can be set up on Facebook, which attracting GivePanel and then being able to push them back to your system. There's much more we can dive into today, but I said it'd be 5 minutes. I've been 6 minutes 10. So that's everything. If you've got any questions, simon@givepanel.com will get you direct through to me, or head over to the GivePanel blog where there's a heap of great information. Cheers.